what's up, premium chasers? One of my favorite strategies is to run the weekly wheel strategy on companies like SPY. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you a full tutorial on how to run weeklies on SPY specifically, but I'm also going to be giving you 3 other favorite stocks of mine that I love collecting weekly premiums on. Let's go.
Running the wheel strategy in a weekly manner where you can essentially collect premium or income from buying shares, selling shares, collecting premiums on both sides. So we're going to specifically be showing this on SPY with on Robinhood, but I'm also going to give you guys throughout some of my other favorite companies to do this on, stuff that's a little bit more risky depending on your risk tolerance, and then also stuff that is more stable as well. But real quick, guys, our community here has been growing and I absolutely love it. I've had some amazing calls with you guys. So if you don't know, if you drop a comment down below, there's always a lucky winner that gets a free option strategy call with me. Nothing to sell you, nothing like that. We just talk just all things options together for like 30 minutes. And I've had some absolutely amazing conversations with you guys. I love where this community is heading. If you love talking options, you love nerding out on this stuff, you need to head to the link in the description. It's a free group. It's our free option selling mastermind. And I want to give some shout outs because everybody's helping each other out here already. Philip here, I want to give you a quick shout out. He opened up some contracts, 3 contracts for $157 each. I'm not that good at math, but that's like $500 almost. And he was been helping out in the comments here. And I'm posting my plays here every single morning around 8:30. I post all of my plays that I'm looking at with like my technical analysis and all the stuff I'm thinking about. I post that for free in there. I'm sharing all the resources on the channel, all the spreadsheets, all that stuff. Also, me and her had an absolutely amazing conversation, and she opened up a couple contracts as well and collected like a couple, it seems like $300 in premium and like it's just a great vibes. The vibes are right. We're trying to avoid having all these bots and scammers in here. A lot of you guys have wanted me to like start a Discord channel and stuff like that. I'm not doing Discord. I'm scared that if I go to Discord, it's going to be just spam and bots. I'm trying to figure out a way to organize us here, okay? But I'm not going to distract it. Drop a comment for your chance to win a free option strategy call, and any resources I mentioned are inside that free Facebook group, okay? We're talking about weekly SPYs, all right? Where we're talking about how to set this up for yourself specifically on Robinhood. And I'm going to kind of walk you guys through it. This is my strategy, right? My strategy on and kind of like my way of doing it. Everybody got their own strategies and ways of doing things. All right. You got to figure out what works for you and make your own educated decisions. I'm only going to show you what stuff has worked for me in the past. And I hope that can help you kind of like kickstart you in the right direction. Okay. So first and foremost, right, a couple little prerequisites before we go down this rabbit hole. Number 1, you're going to have to get some money. I'm assuming you watching this video, you already know SPY ain't cheap, right? So you're going to need some money here. Number 2, I like to start these on Fridays. I start on Friday and then I set the expiration for the following Friday. And the reason for that is because on that expiration, I'm either going to be buying or selling shares, right? And then I can run the play immediately on that Friday and for the next week. Okay. So that's just what I do. Okay. Let me show you guys how it's done first instead of just talking high level. So we have SPY here today. Let's say you don't own any shares of SPY and you want to start this weekly wheel where you're collecting premiums and income on a weekly basis from SPY. So we're going to go to our chain. We're going to click sell a put. Sell put, cash secure put, same exact thing. Our expiration date is going to be 7 days out, right? So I'm going to do February 21st. That's 7 days away. That's what you're in the right place. We're selling a put, cash secure put, 7 days out. Now, this is where you're going to have to decide at what price you want to purchase your shares at, okay? And where you're comfortable buying them. Personally, okay, not financial advice, not financial advisor. Go do your own due diligence and speak to somebody who knows what they're talking about. I like to be closer to at the money with these because I want to get in. Listen, if I don't want to get assigned, like, and I would just do a 30-day expiration and like choose a really good price. But if you're doing weeklies, in my opinion, as you're going to see here, like you want to get assigned. You want to get assigned and you want to get in and out, right? Collect premiums on both sides and then make the appreciation sale, right? So I'm usually going to be within 3. I'm going to usually be picking one of the 3, maybe sometimes 4 strikes if it's looking juicy. Okay, so in this example, I'm looking at, let's go 4 out because that actually looks pretty nice. 607, right? 607. All right. So I'm just going to click this and I'm going to see that my total premium that I collect upfront into my brokerage is $225. So we're going to go to our super simple man's cash secured put calculator and I'm going to put 225. right here. So $225. My collateral, right, is going to be 607 times 100, right? You in big boy territory now. You want to get these kind of returns. You're going to need to you're stepping up your game a little bit here. So you're going to need $60,000 to run this play, right? Now our return on this in a single week is 0.37. Okay, annualized, that's 19%. So if I have my expiration date here set as 7 days. If I run this play 52 times a year, I'm essentially collecting about 11 grand in premiums for a 19% return. That's, obviously not always the case. You're going to get assigned, you're going to be signed. It just helps me visualize things a little bit better. That's it. That's all it is. The next thing is, right, do you want to be more aggressive or not? Okay. That's where your risk tolerance and you need to think about what you want to do, right? Because you can go closer to this money, right? And you'll collect almost $300, right? $298 if you do a 609, right? So like, let's say, what did I say? $302 now, right? We're moving. We'll just say 300 for the sake of this example, right? That's going to bump you up to a 0.5% return in a single week, right? What are the risks? Some of you are like, okay, well, I'll just do it. What are the risks? Well, the risks are, you could be stuck holding SPY. That's the biggest risk. Let's say you get assigned in SPY, we get into this insane bear market, and it takes a really long time for SPY to recover. This is why I always recommend you can't really lose when you're selling options and doing the wheel, as long as you stick to your plan of buying companies you don't mind holding, like straight up. Like if you're getting into, you get hurt when you start getting into like sketchy companies, like companies you don't really believe in and you're just chasing premium. Like SPY for the most part, like, can we all, like, I don't know, like, can we, like, for me at least, I would never bet against that SPY is never going to hit all-time highs. Like, because it literally always has, right? Like, it literally always has, right? So, if I get stuck holding it, for the most part, I know it'll hit all-time highs again, maybe not in a week, but eventually, okay? So that's like your biggest risk, I would say. So you have to judge that return. So for me, I would probably just stick in like that 607. So we collect 230. It looks like we're kind of moving here. So we'll just say 230, and we're collecting a 0.38% return. Okay, perfect. Okay, so a few things can happen now. Let's say next week rolls around. A couple things can happen. Number one, let's say SPY stays flat, right? What's it trading around, like 610 right now, 609. It stays flat. It's maybe around like 610. Okay, perfect. Now you just open another put, right? Because your option expires worthless, right? It never hit 607. You never got assigned, right? And you move on with your life. You just sell another put next Friday on SPY, collect premium, repeat, right? That's what we do here. Sell options, collect premiums, or repeat, baby. And then you run the play again. The second thing that can happen is that you will get assigned, right? There's only two things that can happen here, right? You will get assigned. So you will have to buy your shares at $607, okay? I'm going to talk about managing the position in just a few minutes. Let me get through this, okay? Because I know some of you are like, oh, do you close out? Do you roll? We'll get there. Okay. So now let's say you did get assigned. So for this example, let's just kind of like pretend right now, because like I don't want to go out to like 14 days and then the premiums are going to look ridiculous, and I'd rather just show you here, right? So let's say that you have you got assigned, you bought your shares, right? Now you want to sell covered calls. You want to sell calls against your shares and collect premium for that every single week, right? So our expiration, we're just going to leave 7 days out again, right? We're going to sell a call now. And now you're going to get to pick at what price you want to sell them. I think it goes without saying. Listen, guys, I saw somebody say this and I was like, why? I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy. It's another like a YouTube channel, or I saw a short. I forget, whatever. The point is, someone said to sell them at to sell at the same price that you got it on. I'm like, why would I do that? Why would I do that? It's insanity. I mean, it's like crazy. I'm like, okay, what? Because your premiums are a little bit juicier? Like, no. Why would I do that? It's insanity. I can't do it, guys. Some of this stuff, like, whatever. We can all disagree. We all have stuff that works for us, so I'm not here to judge. All right, but whatever. We bought them at 607. Now we get to decide what price we want to sell our shares at the following week, right? Usually, I'm going to be aggressive here. I'm going to be right around that money, right? So right here, I'm going to say I'm cool selling them at 611. I'll click this little button here and I will collect $313 in premium. Right, I'm going to go to our super simple bands, a covered call premium calculator, and I'm going to put 313 here, right? 300 or 3, whatever, 3, we'll just say 315, all right? 315, because everything's moving. 315. Now, our strike of the option was 611, right? That we are buying it for. And I'm going to actually, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting to do this. Let's zoom in a little bit here, right? Let's zoom in so I don't forget. I know everything's unedited here, guys. I apologize. One man shop, you know? So our strike of option is 611, right? 611 right here, right? That's what we are willing to sell it for, right? We bought them for 607. 607, and our premium return is 0.52%. You're probably thinking, premium, what do you mean, Pete? What does that mean? Well, I consider, listen, on the cash secured put side, your collateral is cash, right? So you can easily kind of see what your return on collateral is. With the when you're selling the calls, your collateral is shares now, right? So you're now your collateral is that. So I just like literally just tell you this, like, and I say 60,700 is like that. I just pretend it's cash, right? And I get a return of 0.52. Do what you want. This is what I do. Like. Like it's what works for me. Okay. So let's say that this date comes around the following week. A few things can happen. Number one, it stays under 611. You know, SPY's just been trading sideways, right? You got in at 607 and it's below 611, right? Okay. Perfect. Let's say it's at like 610, whatever. Wait. Now you're just going to run the covered call play again. You're going to sell calls on those 100 shares because your option to contract expires worthless. And yes, of course, you obviously keep that premium that's paid to you up front. The second thing that can happen, which is obviously the better thing, is you will sell your shares. You will sell your shares. Let's say SPY does hit 611, right? You will sell your shares, right? And you will collect your appreciation on those shares. So let's see how that looks like, right? So right here, if you actually sell your shares, you'll collect an additional $400 in appreciation, right? That's 607, right? You bought them at 607, you sold them at 611. I think you guys you understand that. Obviously, everything's times the 100 here with these share prices because it's 100 shares. You made $400 on your shares, right? For a total profit on the covered call side of $715, right? That's the premium that you collected for opening that, for selling that call, and then the profit on the shares, right? For $715, a 1% return in a single week. Can any of us complain about that? So it's your total profit on the covered call side. If we take that over here, and I always like to kind of like look at the hypotheticals of like, hey, if all the legs of this work out in like a 2-week period, right? So if I get assigned my cash secured put the week, and then I sell my cash secured put the following week, and I'm collecting premiums on both ends, and I actually sell my shares, I would have collected $945 in total profit for that. So what does that look like percentage wise? I'm just going to put this 945 here. And you'll see in a span of 2 weeks, right? Because we're 2 weeks, right? We're doing 1.56% return if the cash secured puts gets assigned for us and we actually sell them the following week, okay? For an 81% return over a month. Now, listen, I want to give you reasonable expectations. That's not always going to happen. Like most options expire worthless. So what's most like, but this does happen, like for sure, right? Like it does happen, which is fantastic. But what's most likely to happen is you will just walk away with your premiums, right? So you collected your 315 on the covered call side, 230 on your cash secured put side, and you're going to walk away with $545 to continue running the play, right? Then you would just open up either sell calls and sell puts, and you do this every single week, right? On Fridays, like literally that's the wheel strategy on SPY weekly. A little bit more management, right? So you have to kind of weigh like your how much time you can put into this. Once you do it a few times, it's like anything in life, right? It gets easier to kind of like manage, and you kind of know what you got to do. You kind of sit down, you can get it knocked out within like, a minute, like a couple, let's just say 15, 20 minutes, right? So let's talk about a couple other companies that I like to do this on. We will talk about some of the like riskier ones and more stable ones that also are like a SPY. So for example, if you want to kind of like do a SPY one, but mainly on the NASDAQ, QQQ is really good. Also, again, very expensive to do it on. But again, it's one of those companies where like, for the most part, like, it's safer, right? Like it's always kind of hit all-time highs. So obviously they're going to be a little bit more expensive for you. A couple other good cons, obviously Apple is fantastic to run this strategy on. And the reason it is because for your collateral, it's a green day, really green day. So you're getting way more on your collateral. Like look at this. Like if you're selling calls on Apple weekly, right? Like you're getting $230 in premium on 24,000. Like let's just look at that, right? So let's say 235, right? Literally that's insane. 235 on 24,500. Right, you're getting basically a 1% return just on the put side, right? Not even talking about the premium on the call side, right? If you sell them, actually, this is the call side, but it's the same, yeah, basically the same exact thing. If you'll see that would be like your premium, right? It's actually even higher on if you go like put side on a red day, you'll see that the premiums are even higher on red days. But the thing is, these are more risky, right? These kind of plays, so don't be blinded by this, right? Because like you can look at it over time, like. Even though like Apple has always hit all-time highs, you can kind of argue that like there's still more of a risk here, right? But it's a great company to do it on. Another one is Microsoft. Definitely more expensive, but it's one I usually I've done it in the past on. It's a great company to do it on, and you also have obviously great, fantastic premiums on this. So the next one. You start going into more riskier territories, all right? And this, I would say, like, if it's your first swing at bat, like, probably go stick to, like, a SPY or an Apple, get your feet wet. But, like, for me, I love doing it on AMD as well. Not all the time, sometimes, depending on, like, the conditions, what's going on, right? There's more research involved with like when you're trading the wheel on individual companies as opposed to just doing like a SPY wheel where you get exposure to like everything essentially, right? So like if you're gonna go into doing the wheel on like a specific company every week, it's very important for you to like stay in tune with this company. Are earnings coming up, right? Like what's going on with the company's financials, right? Like is there any news coming out about the company? You really got to like stay on the pulse there, because if you go in there and like let's say something's coming out, some news is supposed to be dropping and like you trade it and then like there's gonna be a massive spike in volatility that just doesn't work to your advantage. Like there's a little bit more grunt work when you're doing it on more like these growth stocks where it's like you have insane premium, but again, they're individual companies. Okay. But again, at the end of the day, like let's just cut the crap. Like if it's a company you like and you love and you don't mind holding, like whatever. Right. So like AMD is a good one because it's like it's $100, basically $100 stock here. If I'm selling puts on it, like it's great. I mean, the premiums are just getting really, really nice, right? They're getting really, really nice. And then I will leave you two more. I'll just might as well because I just want to show you guys the ones I've done on the past. Amazon, really good one to do on, obviously. And then I will also give you guys J&J. Okay. One of the reasons I like this J&J is because there will be times where you're just stuck holding the stock for a while, right? And like I want to do this wheel on companies where I'm going to at least get something while I'm sitting around. And of course I'm doing my covered calls, I'm collecting premiums, but I'm making that dividend. I'm getting that dividend as well. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm collecting that dividend as well. They're not going to be as crazy here, your premiums. I get it. Like you look at like an Apple or an AMD, Microsoft, and these premiums are like, wow, like I'm getting 1% a week. Like, hell yeah. Like, I get it. Like you can get blinded, premium blinders, right? But with a company like this, they're not gonna be super juicy. They're kind of gonna be in line with what like a SPY is. But again, it's a company that pays a pretty decent dividend, and it's a great company, right? All right, guys, that is it for today's video. If you liked it, hit like and subscribe. Also, every single or not every single, one lucky commenter will win a free option strategy call with me. All the resources that I discussed will be in our Facebook group. I will leave that link in the description of today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, sell options, collect premiums, repeat. I will see you guys tomorrow.